Hello everyone, welcome to Calling Glass, welcome to the club, welcome to the pod. My name is Alvaro, as always, and today in the podcast, NBA Playoffs Preview Part 2. Let's see it. So welcome back to the Part 2 of the preview of the playoffs. Today, we're going to talk about the series that starts Sunday 20 of April, so today. Before I start, if you're watching the video, you will see that I have the t-shirt of the Warriors strengthening numbers from some playoffs in 2000. I don't know when actually, but yeah, here it is. Not to say anything, but maybe it has to do with whatever I will preview of the series against the Rockets. Maybe not. We will see. It's actually the only t-shirt that I have that is related to the playoffs. That's what I'm wearing. So again, we're going to go through the teams, to the series, let's say, to how are the teams doing lately in the last month, to the matchup in between the teams, to the key players, and then some context that is more like my subjective view, and then my prediction. And we start with the number 1 from the West, Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Memphis Grizzlies, number 8 from the West. OKC has finished the season with a record of 68 wins and 14 losses. Memphis 48 and 34, 8 in the West. They won the play-in against the Dallas Mavericks last Friday. So only 2 days of rest for them. Looking at the last month of competition, so from the 12th of March until the 12th of April, which was the last day of the regular season, OKC have the best record in that month, tied with the Clippers, of 14 wins and 2 losses. On the other hand, Memphis has a record of 6 wins and 10 losses, which is the worst record of the teams that are in the playoffs right now. In offense, OKC were the third best team last month. Memphis were the 20th best team. In defense, OKC were the 5th. Memphis the 16th. In total net rating, OKC second, Memphis 20th of the NBA. If we look at efficient field goal percentage, OKC shooting at 58.5% last month, Memphis at a 55%. And then, how many threes do the teams take out of the whole field goal attempts? OKC shoots 41% of their shots from the three-point line, Memphis 43%. And at what rate do they convert those threes? OKC converts 42% of the threes that they take, in the other hand, which is the second highest of the NBA. On the other hand, Memphis converts 38% of their threes. And lastly, free throw attempts per field goal attempts total. OKC is shooting 19% of the shots from the line, and Memphis 17%. I thought actually it would be higher for OKC because Shea's always going to the line, apparently. So yeah, I thought it would be a bit higher. Now, looking at the head-to-head in between OKC and Memphis, they have played each other 4 times, with 4 wins for OKC. And in those wins, they have been for an average of 20 points of difference. 125 points for OKC, 106, so 19 points actually, to Memphis. And the main difference comes in field goal attempts, which when they play each other, OKC attempts 96 field goals and Memphis only 87. And the rate of conversion of those field goals has been 41% for Memphis and 48% for OKC. Now let's go to the key players. Shea averaging against Memphis 36 points and 7 assists, which is higher than his regular season average of 33 points and 6 assists. So he's playing good against them. On the other hand, in the Memphis side, we have Ja Morant, who has played 2 games against OKC, and he has scored 20 points and 7 assists. But the problem here comes in the field goal percentage, which he averaged against OKC only 34% from the field, compared to his 45% in regular season. Now, a bit of context from my side, things that I noticed when I watched the games. First, start with OKC. Lu Dort is becoming maybe this is a question. Is Lu Dort becoming a 3-point specialist? Apart from, because we know he's a great defender, turtle chamber. He plays amazing defense, and he was shooting his open shots, and he was making some threes. But lately, I have seen him make many 3-pointers, and not even that open. Of course, when the opponent has to choose who they leave open, usually it's Lu Dort, but he's converting those threes. And I had the question here if he's actually a 3-point specialist, he's becoming that, and if he can actually maintain that level of efficiency from the 3-point line in the playoffs, because in the playoffs the wrists start to get a bit more stiff, and you need to make them. So let's see if he can do that in the playoffs. Second point of OKC, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Maybe I said that before, but his shooting mechanics have massively improved since he joined the NBA. It's impressive. In Clippers, or even in his first years in OKC, he was not a shooter. He couldn't shoot well. He was shooting in a very two motion shot, very differentiated. When he was loading the legs and then when he was extending his arm. But now it seems much more fluid, his shot, and he's actually a good shooter from three. Obviously, from the mid range, he's a master, but from three, he's becoming a pretty good shooter, and that's impressive. Another third point for OKC, I want to mention that for me, Chet Holmgren is a talent that is not being exploited as much as they could, OKC. In offense, he's just playing the pick and roll and pick and pop, but he's not creating for others or playing the one-on-one that often. And I think he could. I think he's super talented. He has so much skills, and I think he could do it. He's still a great player in that role. And in defense, he's been great, of course, protecting the rim. But I still think, maybe not for this player, but I think he has a lot of potential still in offense. On the Memphis side, good things that I want to mention. Bane is cold. Bane, I saw him against Warriors in the play-in, and this guy is making tough shots in the tough moments. Like when things are going wrong, suddenly he just let it fly and he makes some important threes. Very good Desmond Bane. Then Zach Edey, also, in my opinion, playing an important role for Memphis now. It's true that he makes a lot of good things and bad things. He's not like a stable. He makes one play he's going to do something good. The next play he's going to do something bad for Memphis. But overall, I think he has been important and he has been a good asset for them. They were feeding him a lot inside, and he makes the defense collapse around him, so that's good. Then he's charging a lot in the offensive rebound, which is also pretty good for them. And of course, in defense, he's a big guy, so it's hard to attack the rim. The bad thing that I see in offense, sometimes he should not dribble. He receives more or less near the rim, and he should just turn around and shoot, because when he dribbles, when the defenders go at the ball, and he sometimes commits turnovers. But I mean, he's a rookie, so he needs to become better at that, if he can. And then last comment on Memphis, Scottie Pippen Jr. Scottie. I remember seeing this guy, some highlights of him in high school, and I would have never, ever thought that this guy could play in the NBA. He was small, like 6'1", not athletic, and yeah, like a normal player. He seemed like a normal player. Then he went to college, to a smallish college. I forgot which one was, Vanderbilt maybe. And he became completely a different player, especially in the physical side. Now he's a very athletic player, like strong and fast legs. He's a dog in defense. He was playing face-to-face against Curry, and he has this passing ability that he always had. It's true. And then shooting is pretty good. And then with all this development in the physical tools, he has become a very reliant player. Maybe not a star. I think he's at his peak right now. I don't think he can get much better. But I think he is a rotational player in a good NBA. That's what I think Scottie Pippen is, which is pretty good for him. Now, predictions. Well, first of all, key. How is Morant's ankle? He twisted in Golden State. Let's see how it is. But anyways, I don't think Memphis have a chance. I think they have been playing actually pretty poorly lately. Firing the coach also before the playoffs is not a good move, I believe. and I think they're gonna struggle. I think also they don't even have they are not veteran compared to OKC. Like, they are both young teams. They have nothing, I will say, that is better, that they do better than OKC, and I think they will lose actually in a 4-0 run for OKC. Next series, we fly to the east. We fly to Massachusetts, to Boston. The Celtics, second seed in the East with a record of 61-21, are facing the Orlando Magic with a record of 41-41, seventh seed in the East. Last month, Boston has had a record of 13 wins and 3 losses. Orlando 11-4, not bad. Offensively, Boston has been the second best team. Orlando has been the 18th best team last month. In defense, Boston has been the 7th best team. Orlando the best team in the NBA last month in defense. So Orlando, best defense. Boston, second best offense. Let's see what prevails, right? The defense of Orlando or the offense of Boston. Net rating total, Boston 3rd last month, Orlando 5th. So pretty good for both. Efficient field goal percentage. Boston has shot a 57% from the field, Orlando 54%. And how many of these shots come from the three-point line? For Boston, 55% of their shots are from the three-point line. They are the team that shoots the most this last month. For Orlando, only 41%. And at what rate they convert the shots? Actually, it's the same rate for both teams, 36%. Although it's tricky for Orlando because Orlando shots 36% shooting alone. So they cannot convert tough shots. They are very bad. They shoot very poorly. And this 36% has to be because they shoot a lot of times when they are fully up. If not, they don't shoot. And then free throw, how many free throws they attempt compared to the total field goals that they attempt. So 15% for Boston, 20% for Orlando. If we look at the head-to-head, Orlando versus Boston, actually they played 3 times, and 2 of those games went to Orlando, which is surprising. So 2-1 for Orlando. And the games were decided for very, very few points and very low score, actually. In average, Boston scored 100 points against Orlando, and Orlando scored 99 points. 1 point difference and very low score, as you can see. So I guess the defense imposed itself in both, right? Well, Orlando doesn't have a good offense, so. Key players. Tatum played only 1 game against Orlando. He scored 30 points. Jaylen Brown played 2 games against Orlando with an average of 27.5 points and 5 assists, but only shooting 22% from the three-point line. And on the Magic side, Banchero played 2 games against Boston, scoring 18 points and 5 assists. Not amazing. Franz Wagner, 1 game against Boston of 23 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 assists. Bit of context, my view of the series. I think Orlando are a great defensive team. I think they have the tools, the physical tools. They have huge guys. I remember some lineups that are like Wendell Carter, which is tough and good defender, Jonathan Isaac, Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, all in the same lineup, and then maybe Corey Joseph. So defensively, I think they are prepared to match up well with the offense of Boston. I think they do. I don't think this is a great matchup for Boston. It's true that Orlando is going to struggle in offense. I think they should play more Cole Anthony, just because they need someone who can generate and shoot from the outside. So I think he will be a good asset for them to play him. It's a pity also for Orlando that Jalen Suggs is injured. It's a pity. I expected more for them this season, to be honest. 7th is not bad, but I expected more for them. But it is true that they have dealt with injuries. Suggs now, Mo Wagner as well. Banchero was injured for more than a month. Franz Wagner the same. So they are struggling a bit. And right now also they have 1 point guard, which is Corey Joseph, the veteran, which to me, he's not really a first-line point guard in the NBA. Even less for the playoffs. I actually believe that Boston is, of course, 2 or 3 steps ahead of Orlando. I think they are the biggest favorite for the title. Again, I think, maybe they can struggle in offense against Orlando, because Orlando is good in offense. I think Orlando will struggle even more in offense against Boston. Overall, let's see how much fight. I think they can fight Orlando. I think they can actually compete this series, but overall, I think Boston takes them in 6 games. And we move to the next series. We stay in the East. We go to Ohio. Cleveland Cavaliers, first seed in the East, versus Miami Heat, 10th seed in the East. Cleveland with a record of 64 wins and 18 losses. Miami with 37 wins and 45 losses. They are the first ever 10th seed to go into the playoffs, which doesn't surprise me, being Miami. They are made for this. Last month, record for Cleveland of 9-7, Miami 8-9. Offensively, Cleveland last month 7th in the NBA, Miami 16th. Defensively, Cleveland 17th, Miami 9th. Total net rating, Cleveland 12th, Miami 10th. So not actually a great month to end for Cleveland. Looking at the whole season, they ended up a bit slower, but well, let's see. Efficient field goal percentage, 57% from the field for both teams. How many threes they shoot? There is a big difference. Well, there is a gap here. Cleveland shoots 45.5% of his shots from the three-point line. On the other hand, Miami only 38.5% are from the three-point. And at what rate are they converting? Here it turns around. Cleveland is converting at 36% from the field, and in the other hand, Miami at 40% from the field. This is always last month of competition, from 12th of March to 12th of April, last day of regular season. And then how many free throws out of the whole field goals are for Cleveland? 17%, for Miami 15.5%. Now let's look at the head-to-head in between Cleveland and Miami. They played 3 times each other with 2 wins for Cleveland. Where I see discrepancies here is in the personal fouls and turnovers. So Cleveland has committed 18 fouls per game, Miami 13. But on the other hand, the turnovers are for Cleveland 10 and for Miami 13 as well. So they mean that they are pressing more on Miami and they have forced turnovers on them. Of course, that causes for you to do more faults. Key players, Donovan Mitchell, 24 points per game and 5 assists against Miami, which is pretty close to his normal averages. Evan Mobley, also from Cleveland, 14 points, 10 rebounds, which is a bit low because in regular season he averaged 18.5, and now against Miami only 14. Maybe Bam Adebayo has made him struggle. In the Miami side, I have stats from Tyler Hero. He played 2 games against Cleveland. He scored 28 points and gave 7 assists, which is higher than his 24 points of average in the regular season. And also what is higher is his 3-point percentage. Against Cleveland, he has shot at 47% from 3, and in the regular season, he shot at 37.5%. So 10% higher 3-point percentage for Hero against Cleveland. I think for Miami, Hero needs to go a bit nuts and play very well if they want to have a chance. Let's talk about Cleveland a bit. It's true that I doubt Cleveland's offense. I know that the stats say that is the best or one of the best in the NBA, but when I see them play, I feel like the struggle can come from there in the offense. Their defense is amazing with Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley protecting the rim. I actually think if they want to make a run in these playoffs, which they will, but if they want to actually maybe win the championship, I think their interiors, so Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley, need to really dominate the interior game of the other players, of the other teams, which I think they could because they are great players, Mobley and Allen. On the other hand, Miami is true that they are the dangerous team. They are a team that likes to come from behind. They love to be the underdog. They have proven before that they can pull it off. They know how they play. They know the roles very well. They have a great coach, probably the best coach in the NBA, Eric Spoelstra. But I think even that, they are not going to pull it off this time. I think they lack a lot of talent. I think without Jimmy Butler, this is very difficult. And I think, Cleveland, apart from the interior game, they also have a good bench with Jerome playing very well. And I think Cleveland wins this in 6 games. I think they might fall in some traps from Spoelstra and from Miami, but overall, I think they will win this series. Last series for today, Probably the most interesting one, Houston Rockets against Golden State Warriors. Houston have finished second in the West with a record of 52 wins and 30 losses. Golden State Warriors has finished seventh in the West with a record of 48 and 34 losses. So only 2 wins of difference in between the second and the seventh team in the West. The West is very packed, and I mean that the wins difference is very small in between the second and the seventh. All the teams are around 50 wins except OKC Thunder. So it is true that the Rockets finished second, but we need to take into consideration that the win difference is not that big. Last month, Rockets have a record of 12 and 4, Warriors 11 and 5. In offense, Rockets were the 5th best team, Warriors the 13th best team in offense. In defense, Rockets were the 11th best team, Warriors the 3rd best team. Total net rating, Rockets 7th, Warriors 6th. Now looking at efficient field goal percentage, Rockets shot at a 56% rate, Warriors 55% rate. How many threes they shoot? Rockets shoot 40% of the shots from the three. Warriors shoot the 50% of the shots from the 3-point line. And then convert, Rockets make 38.5% of the shots from the 3-point line, and Warriors make 37% of their shots from the 3-point line. Last stat, the free throws over the total field goal attempts, 17% for Rockets, 23% for Warriors. There is a gap here. Warriors go to the line more often. These teams have played each other 5 times in the season, which is a lot, probably the most out of the all teams. It's true that they played 1 time in the NBA Cup, so that's why. Out of the 5 times, Warriors have won 3 out of those 5. So 3 and 2, pretty tight. And actually, you can see that the point differential in those games was only 1 point difference. So 103 for Golden State, 102 for Houston Rockets. Where there were difference in free throw attempts, 25 free throw attempts per game for Warriors, only 17 for Rockets, and 3-point percentage, 35% for Warriors, 30% for the Houston Rockets. Now we go to the key players. Very interesting, this one. Stephen Curry against the Rockets. He has played 3 times. He has lost 2 out of those 3 games. His average out of 16 points and 5 assists. Only 16 points for the chef, which is super low compared to his regular season average. And his shooting was from the 3-point line only 30% of conversions. On the other hand, we have from Houston, Alperen Sengun, which scored 17 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 assists. And Jalen Green, also from Houston, 13 points per average only against the Warriors, and shooting at a poorly 25% from the 3-point line. So let's talk about a bit of context. Rockets are an amazing defensive team. To me, they are like the Orlando Magic of the West, but with more punch in offense as well. They have athletic players such as Dillon Brooks, Tari Eason, Amen Thompson, incredible. So good defenders overall. Tough, gritty. I think Curry will struggle actually against this team, as he did already struggle against them in the past. He scored 1 game, only 3 points. Probably Amen Thompson is going to be just like hunting down Curry, and it's scary if Amen Thompson hunts you, because this guy is super athletic, super big, super tall, quick, lanky. It's probably not a good. It's not pleasing probably to be being defended by Amen Thompson. So I think the key for the Warriors is going to be in Jimmy Butler. Is Jimmy Butler going to be able to take command of the offense when Curry is struggling and when the defense is focused on Curry? I think that's the key. If Butler can play good, if he can average maybe 25 points per game, I think the Warriors have a good chance of winning. I also think Curry is going to struggle, but he's not going to do 16 points of average. He's going to have a couple of games of 30 or more points, for sure. Then on the Houston side, I also think Sengun is going to struggle. I think Sengun is not comfortable playing against Draymond Green. I think Draymond Green is an amazing defender, and he plays very good defense against Sengun. So I think Sengun is not going to have his best series either. Last thing that I want to mention, kind of funny thing, I remember seeing the last game between both teams. Houston was playing with Sengun at the 4 and Steven Adams on the 5, playing as sort of zone defense at times. And it was funny seeing that Warriors were going super small ball with Draymond Green at the 5 and Jimmy Butler on the 4. So 2 towers for Houston Rockets and 2 small forwards for the Warriors as their interior presence, which was kind of impressive, kind of funny to see that. Overall, I think it's going to be a tough series. I think it's going to be a gritty series. I think the veterany, the know-how of the Warriors can impose itself. I think as well, Jimmy Butler is a great playoff performer, and he can take over when Curry can't. And I think Warriors will take this series in 6 games. And that is all for today. Those are the series that are starting today, Sunday, 20th of April. I hope you will enjoy them. I hope you like and subscribe and do whatever you want to do with this video or with this podcast. And I will see you soon. That's all. Enjoy, have fun, and bye-bye.